YouTube, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you what I got from the Chanel Spring, is it Spring Summer collection? Definitely Spring 2022 makeup collection. The collection is called La Pausa. That's after the holiday home of Coco Chanel, La Pausa. I think they had a fragrance, well, I'm sure they had a fragrance called after the holiday home as well. I think it was in Provence, but I'm not sure about that. But anyway, that's the inspiration for this collection. So a Mediterranean theme, which is not unusual for Chanel with their summer collections. And I know this one seems to have been really popular on YouTube, and there've been quite a lot of videos which were helpful to me to an extent in deciding what I was going to purchase from this collection, because there have been so many products coming out at once. For Chanel in particular, as well as the La Pausa collection, they also dropped a collection of 2 blushes and 5 lipsticks, Comet collection. And they've also launched their Numero 1 collection, which is a whole new skincare line, but also has a fragrance and has a foundation. I've got the foundation, and sneak preview, I like it a lot. I'll be talking about that in a separate video, and also my picks from La Comet collection. So there's a lot happening all at once. And you'll see from what I'm showing here, you might be a bit confused by all these nail polishes, because I like to show you similar ones from my collection to the colours. But there are just those 2 nail polishes. I always get the nail polishes. As you know, I collect, so it's pretty much a given that I will send for those, even though I'm not that taken with either of these colours. We'll look at them in a minute. I was very excited about the limited edition eye palette. That was the one I really wanted, and we'll have a look at that. I have had it out of its packet. I haven't yet used it. I haven't actually swatched it, to be fair. So we'll do that together in a moment. Worry not, they are still sending the little velour pouch with the Chanel palettes. They've disappeared with the Dior ones. And then there is a range of, I think, 5 or 6 lip balms in this white casing. It's the Rouge Coco Baume, and I got 1 at the moment. These aren't limited editions, so hopefully we'll have a little while to get our hands on those. There are 2 blushes, or a blush and a contourer. I decided not to get those for 2 reasons, really. I'm trying to move away from powder blushes because I find I'm using them less effectively now than liquid or cream blushes. Although I do, you know, there's still something I like about applying powder as my blush. But more to the point, I have bought 1 from the Comet collection, which came out at the same time. And I felt that these 2 blushes were not really my colours. I know a lot of people like the more corally one, although it looked quite orangey to me in a lot of the videos that I've seen. And the other one was miles too dark for my complexion. So I gave those a miss. There's also one of the highlighter sticks that they seem to have gone in for more than highlighter powders. It's a kind of rosy coloured one. I do like them, but I've got 2 now, and they're going to last for ages, so I didn't need another one. So really the thing that I was excited about was the eyeshadow palette, a quartet called Mediterranean. I'm sure they've done a Mediterranean not that long ago. This kind of reminds me of, they did one called, I'm going to say Désert, something like that. And maybe there was a Mediterranean one that I really like. The one I'm thinking of, I take out pretty much every summer. It's got some greens in, but the kind of pretty design that we're seeing here, I do love. I think it's so pretty. Now, it's looking in the viewfinder that they're very similar colours, I have to say. Right up my street. Let's swatch goldeny khaki, I would call this. Very pigmented, actually. So pretty. Very wearable. Let's go to this one, which is a bit more kind of rosy. Again, very pretty. Much lighter. The lightest one up here, super soft. A bit more patchy. So those two looking quite similar. This is definitely in real life has a slightly more rose hue than this gold one. And then here, that one feels a bit harder. Oh, it's quite pigmented as well. So there's the colour palette, which isn't startling. They're all quite bright and shiny. This one here, which is that one there, quite glittery. A bit of a topper, really. But I know people have raved about them on YouTube, and I've seen eye looks that look really, really pretty. It's definitely my colour palette. Not that I need another set that look like this, but, you know, who can resist when they're so prettily presented? Let's just look at the little CCs. So gorgeous, although I've almost wiped that one off already. I'm going to have to photograph that for Instagram before I do any more. Now, a lot of people have said, very like Nude Dip, favourite for many of we Tom Ford fanatics. And I think if you look at mine's a bit mess, my Nude Dip, because it's used a lot. You can see that the colourway looks very different in the palette, in that you've got this definite rose here, and the application I think is, I prefer this Tom Ford application. So super soft, and bear in mind I've had Nude Dip for several years now and it's still working beautifully. You can kind of see the similarities, but it is a different palette. I think you'd have to say that the Nude Dip has a greater variety of tones, although the Chanel may be slightly different textures. I'm interested to see how the Chanel one will apply on my eyes. I think I will like it because it's a selection of colours and shades that is very wearable. But if you have Nude Dip, do you need this as well? Possibly not. Nude Dip, of course, more expensive. Is it still available? I need to check that. But you can certainly get it on kind of resale sites. One of the all-time great palettes. And it's very tough to beat Nude Dip, it seems to me. But there we are. I'm going to enjoy trying Mediterranee in the coming days. I got one of the Rouge Coco Balm called My Rose. I was quite attracted by the coral one, although this looks pretty coral. It didn't look that coral on the illustrations on the website, but again, I had seen some useful YouTube videos, so I knew it was going to be fairly coral. You see, pretty well pigmented for what's supposed to be a lip balm, and so I'm looking forward to that. I'll probably, it's very summery colour, isn't it? Probably get some more of those. They are a nice formula. Now, reasonably briefly, the two nail polishes for those of you who are fans. This very strange lemony cream, which, what's it called? Riviera. That doesn't shriek Riviera to me. It shrieks kind of lemon blancmange, to be honest. I don't think it's going to look great on my nails, but I had to have it as a collector. I haven't got many lemons or yellows for obvious reasons. Just as a marking point, you can see that Mimosa, which was a relatively famous one, is much, much more yellow And so is LA Sunrise, which is an older one, although a bit lighter than Mimosa. The nearest I had was this one here, which is a very old one called Beige Moiré. 51 is telling you that's old, and you can see that the consistency is not brilliant anymore, but it's a very similar colour, more pearlized than this cream. But I don't know how many people have Beige Moiré. So it is an unusual colour. Excuse me, I'm dithering about there. It's an unusual colour for Chanel. So collectible, I suppose, on that basis. But how flattering it's going to be for most of us, I question. And then the other much more wearable colour is called Terra Rossa. And I call this a kind of bricky rose. Again, I haven't got many in my collection that actually look like this. I immediately thought of this one, which is quite similar, and it's Delicatesse, which is a few years ago. It's one of the few that haven't got a number, so it's difficult to tell. Bit darker, bit cooler, but the same kind of tone, Delicatesse. And then I dug out two more recent ones. This is Bleached Mauve, which you can see is definitely lighter, from I think 2 years ago maybe. And Intention, this is a few years ago. Again, lighter and has a gold micro shimmer. So none of them an exact dupe. You just don't get an exact dupe with Chanel. Of course you don't, because otherwise they, wouldn't issue it, I guess. But Delicatesse, I think, will probably look very similar on the nails if you happen to have that one. I think this will be a much more flattering colour for a lot of people, although not particularly exciting. I haven't been very excited about the Chanel nail polishes recently. They're not doing as interesting a textures and finishes as they used to, and which I think is their strong point with these endless creams that they're doling out. So an unusual colour palette, I felt, for a spring collection, but there we go. Yeah, so that's what I got from the Spring Summer Mediterranee La Pausa collection. Interested to know what you've got. I know a lot of people have gone for that eye palette, and I'm not surprised. And I think the lip balms are going to be popular too. But as I say, they are not limited editions, so we can take our time and spend our money more gradually if we're interested in those, particularly for the summer. So I hope to speak to you again soon. I've got a lot to show you. But until then, take care, keep safe, and bye for now.